Good morning, and what is a cool, grey and cloudy day? It is Tuesday, the 8th of August. I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And a parcel to unbox. Get a knife out, just get this, slice this open. What have I got in? Okay, I've got another box in here. So this is going to take a little longer to unbox because in effect I'm doing a double unboxing. So do bear with me. It's a bit easier to unbox though. There we go. Right. And finally, okay, what I've got in here is that and that. Not quite sure what that is, but if I can find the. Right, quite a tight little package here, and eventually I have got my way through to Hull Breach Volume 1, which is for use with the Mothership, first edition, and it's from Anodyne Printware, and brace for Hull Breach. With the premier modular anthology for Mothership Sci-fi Horror role-playing game, this manifest of 26 brand new third-party supplements introduces a playground of toys, tools and full adventures, plus a complete campaign setting to use them in. Let's find out what we've got in here. So, the good thing about this is that this comes out ahead of the actual release of Mothership at first edition, because what we've been playing so far with the Mothership Sci-fi Horror role-playing game is essentially an ashcan version, a preview version of the. It's not necessarily the full rules, but a full version of the rules. So there we go. Got this really nice cover. The idea of being lost in space, and then just something either just sort of folding space or just pulling it, open to vacuum. And then we open up. We have how to use this book. We've got public sector campaign frameworks and a job board. And I do like how books these days are making use of basically the inside and front and back cover. So what in the back cover, what we have is travel procedures, and it makes these games, essentially great use of space, nothing wasted, and it's putting the important tables front and back, as it were, and very accessible. So you have the job board for getting started in using the supplement, and throughout you're going to be wanting to use the travel procedures. And they're easily accessible. You don't have to flip through pages, you're just going to turn to the back. Okay, so we've got a full list of Hull Breach contents, including noting the campaign frameworks and travel procedures, essentially in the appendices, including in the front and back end papers. And we've got sections are broken down into intel and locations, entities, assets. Then we start off with Intel, no match found. Um, using that very, I mean, this is using very sort of like it's not quite the art punk style of Merc Bourge, but it's kind of like the science fiction equivalent. But once we actually get to the first first section, Essence of Dread, exploring the senses to empower your horror, nicely, neatly, cleanly presented. And then we have it's an encounter with, so essentially, so basically it's a mission generator. So you're running on tables here for the muscle, the package, the payment, the location, the method, and the problem. So what you've got there is actually just a series of prompts, four rolls of the dice, and you've got the framework for an adventure. And then you've got a sample mission, handoff at Farpoint Ring. And then we've got Manhunt, basically, and how to play that with different types of monster aliens that you can that will be run into during the adventure. Discussion of alien biology and potential options for evolution of that creature, and then running scenarios and manhunting, in Mothership. Human adversaries for such encounters, and then we actually have a sample adventure, a manhunt starter adventure, which is on board the Silver Noose. So in many cases, what this is actually doing is bringing together sort of a lot of things that you might imagine for Mothership actually appearing on their own. So you can actually imagine this Manhunt section. It's a series of little articles, but being expanded and represented as a supplement, all of its very own. Because one of the features of Manhunt, one of the consequences of Mothership coming out, in a similar fashion to Mouse Ritter, is the proliferation of mini scenarios and supplements for it, for both games, via the format of essentially the fanzine events on Kickstarter. So then we've got Osprey's Quarry, which presents a ship and a crew. So yeah, lots of. I mean, it's a lot. So you even have sort of like smaller. So here you've actually got smaller things that could have been expanded into fanzines of their own, but are here kind of kept a little bit more succinct than you would expect. Here we have A Pound of Mysteries, a guide to designing and running investigative Mothership scenarios, which expands the kind of style of Mothership adventures. Primarily, most of them have been kind of sort of like go somewhere, encounter something nasty, and try and survive. Inspired as Mothership is by the film Alien, and to a certain extent its sequel Aliens. So here we have sort of a guide to creating not necessarily horror scenarios, but creating investigative scenarios. Essentially, Wardenless. This is a guide to playing Mothership without the Warden, the equivalent of the Game Master in Mothership. Basically through a series of prompts, pretty much similar to what you would expect for a solo adventure or journaling role-playing game, in particular journaling role-playing game. Then we get on to missions themselves, so things you can actually sort of like bring to the table immediately. Bones and videotape. through Helium Hysteria. So, you know, so you've really got this is a really nice, rich anthology of content for your Mothership game. You know, open up the possibility of running more than just one-shots with Mothership. So yeah, really nice little package. Thoroughly impressed by the way that this looks, and provides support for the game. Just flipping through, you know, you've got mission after mission that you can play. And that's even before you get to the campaign itself. And here we have locations. And I really like, I mean, you've got such a different range of style of artwork here. I mean, that feels very Traveller-esque. And it's continued inside. So you've actually, this encounter essentially is handling sort of like you've actually got schedule for a trial. You know, what happens if your player characters are arrested, you know, or are sued for damages. Interstellar Mega Mart, somewhere to go and buy and sell, complete with you know, essentially Interstellar Mega Mart treasures and products. Sorry, creatures and products. And then got a toolkit, especially at Procession. Basically, essentially, what this is a mega structure generator, so you can shape, you know, basically giant situations, locations on planets, space stations, I suppose, add items, personnel and taxonomy, and then, for example, we have a station, Siesta 3 Autonomous Zone. Subcultures, notable NPCs, and different modules, docking bay, capsule hotels, engineering, mega marts, comms tower. Yeah, I mean, that's just such a good range of things that you can build, and then terraforms. Essentially, you know, what happens when terraforming goes wrong? That's going to be interesting to look at, and scare your players with. And then you've got location Wonderland. Basically, something that definitely has got, it seems to have gone wrong with that. So all locations, and then entities. Corporate cat dogs, Hellkites, Hellkite casts, the Hive, including both the treasures of the Hive and the fury of the Hive. portfolio. ZRAM, basically boards of some kind, assets, beamed teleportation technology, and then boombox. It's basically dealing with explosives, and then we've got expansion there, appendix, sorry, with campaign causality, using essentially a company pyramid as sort of like as a means to drive and push to adventures forward, and you've got a campaign tracker at the end. So that's Hullbreach Volume 1. Also in here, I'm just going to see what we've got in this other package, which supports it. So, get two unboxings for the price of one. So just gonna unstick the packaging. And what you've got in here is patch, escape pod, and this, let's see if I can get this actually open. Teamster's card, you have Hullbreach, bookmark derelict, you have a secret agent, a pamphlet adventure, a Hullbreach semiotic achievement stickers, public sector map. Just unfolding this. So this is actually the complete. You're looking here at the complete Hullbreach package, which arrived. So then we've got breach of contract, legal practitioners' treaties on agreements between parties. So, reading this book, step 1 on page 1, you are here. Flick through to page 3, and you've got a guide to tearing out pages. I automatically hate this. I don't want to tear anything apart. But over the page you have just documents. I mean, and essentially what we've got is the guide to the legal landscape of contracts and so on in Mothership. Quite possibly one of the oddest things you'll ever have, essentially. But this is the legal and lawyer source book for Mothership. Now, in some ways, this goes sort of like a companion to the earlier section on trials in Hullbreach. Legal urban legends, composing novel contracts, adding in gameplay, contract briefs. I don't know what that's about, but then we've got bounty hunter services contract, and company bylaws, death indemnity policy. This is absolutely fantastic. Legitimate salvage declaration, and this reminds me of I think it's Traveller Supplement 13, something like that, which is forms which is basically a book of forms for traveller. Secure promissory note. I mean, lots and lots of different forms in here, and a list of privacy accrues. It's a mixture of essentially got testament of personal sovereignty. And then we have universal commercial adjudication division. You know, sort of partially filled in. So we've got examples filled in as well. So these you could rip out and sort of like use in game. And we do have blank ones in there as well. So yeah, that then is the breach of contract supplement for use with Mothership as an expansion to to Hull Breach. So yeah, that's quite the sort of like the oddest angle of which to approach Mothership, because you know, yes, the law can be horrifying, lawyers can be horrors. So yeah, so that's Hull Breach and breach of contract for the Mothership sci-fi horror role-playing game. If you've enjoyed this unboxing, then please do click on the like button down below, and if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And of course, if you've got, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box, typically not a box within a box, which I will unbox and I'll basically pull out a game or book, which I will talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do hit that subscribe button down below. In the meantime, thanks for watching another unboxing of the Nook. I'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.